My name is Jaime Brett Salazar. I go by Brett. I was born and raised in Corpus Christi, Texas. My father left when I was 5 years old, and I only have 3 memories of him. When my father left, I remember being at the movie theater with my mom and my dad, and I sat in between them. And I remember asking, as I turned to my father and asked, "Are you my dad?" And he didn't respond. And when he didn't respond, that seed of rejection ended up breaking my heart later down in life. That same year, age of 5 years old, my mom left me with some babysitters, and she left me with this one lady to take care of me, and she had kids there, and one of them was a teenager. And that teenage boy ended up molesting me, and we were playing a hide and go seek game. Of course, at age 5 years old, all you see is people running around the house, and you want to join in and have fun. And the teenage boy said, "I want to teach you some secrets and how to play this game." So I followed him to the restroom, and at that point he molested me. Didn't know how to process that. I was young. So I came from a place of brokenness, not already feeling confident. I had low self-esteem, and we were raised in church. We were raised Catholic, and I remember growing up and hanging out with my mom and my grandma. My grandma loved to go to this Catholic church, so we would go, and I would be so excited. And I remember saying that I loved Jesus, but I really didn't understand Jesus. And my grandma passed in '86. So at that point, I remember still having a desire as far as loving Jesus, really didn't know a lot about it. So in high school, I had a lot of confidence issues. I didn't know who I was. I was trying to find my identity. I didn't feel that I loved myself, but I loved other people, but I was looking for that love back to me. And so the second semester of my freshman year, I decided to change how I dressed. And I was dating girls in high school, and this one girl that I met, she liked to wear Wranglers. And I said, you know what, let me go ahead and just change my clothing lifestyle, and I'm gonna wear Wranglers and country shirts. I don't know what you want to call those. And so I dated her for about a couple months, but I still had this desire for men, and I really wanted to be with a guy. I know in my early 20s, I entered in my first relationship with a gentleman, and I was with him for about a few months. We ended up going to the club. I love dancing. I remember walking to the club for the first time, and just like being around people that actually had the same sex attraction as I did. And I was already feeling comfortable in my own skin. And I remember meeting this one gentleman, and we hit it off pretty well. And so we ended up becoming involved in a relationship. This was the first boyfriend that I've had. I was only with him for a few months, and he was very attentive. He was always supportive, and I felt like I was getting that emotional support that I needed, that I was lacking from my father. And but I ended up cheating on him. And at that point, I was already talking to someone else. Right before I cheated on him, I met this other guy and started talking with him, and not even a week later, I ended up cheating on him, and then things happened from there. And so I was excited, but yet scared, because I was experiencing this new world. I was giving my flesh the gratification of being sexually aroused, because I loved sex more than I loved Jesus. And I started going into other relationships, and most of my relationships, I was unfaithful. Fast forward, I ended up getting into this one relationship for 4.5 years, and we broke up off and on. And this was the one guy that I wanted to marry, and at that time. And I said, this is the guy I can marry. But we had certain arguments, and he wasn't physical abusive, and he was a very nice guy. He'd always help other people, but it's just when we would clash, like we break up. And when we break up, I just go into this part of like, what's going on? I thought this was it. This is going to be the relationship that I was going to be, the guy I was going to be with for the rest of my life. And no, it didn't turn out that way. I remember praying that night, and I remember saying, I was in bed crying. I said, God, I need your help. I want a family. I want a wife. I want kids, but I desire men. I can't explain this. So a couple weeks later, a friend of mine invited me, and it happened to be a close friend to my ex-boyfriend, the one that we broke up. So I ended up going to church, and they had great praise and worship service. And I remember one of the guys was saying, "Hey," pointed towards me and saying, "Hey, you come up." And this is the salvation call. So I went up to the salvation call. I remember accepting Jesus into my heart for the very first time with an open heart. And I was broken at the time. And I followed the salvation prayer. I said, Lord, I want you to come into my heart. I believe that you died on the cross and I want change. And I remember this heavy weight lifted off my shoulders and this new passion in my heart arose, like this fire passion for God that I didn't explain. And I ended up staying with church for a few months, but I ended up going back with my ex-boyfriend for a few more months because the ministry didn't know, they didn't have a ministry to counsel same-sex attraction. There was no one that I could relate to. I felt like I was all alone. So when I moved out, I just said, God, I need a new life. I want that fire passion. I don't want to live that lifestyle anymore. Help me. And because I was already living in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I remember just saying, God, I'm all yours. I remember leaving my ex-boyfriend's house and just beginning to say, okay, God, this is you. This is going to be you. I'm going to live my life for you. So I ended up getting involved with a mega church. I remember getting involved in a homeless ministry. And I remember getting involved in a lot of Bible classes that they had at Bible Institute to kind of build my knowledge on the Word of God, build a solid foundation. And I was on fire for God and just really being committed. So the times that I did follow the Lord, I was committed and I stayed with Him. But there was still that desire in my heart to be with the same-sex attraction. And then December 27th, 2011, the Lord woke me up. And it was around 8:30. I remember just opening the door to the loft to go onto the balcony. And I just remember getting on my knees and I remember crying. And I said, God, please forgive me. I don't know what I'm doing, but I need your help. And if I come back to you this time, I want to be so faithful to you that you help me every step of the way. This is going to have to be you. I will be open, honest, and transparent. It was that day that I told God, I will be open, honest, and transparent about anything and everything, but I'm going to need your help. I cannot do this on my own. And the Lord brought to me, it says, a righteous man falls 7 times, but you got to get right back up. You got to keep moving forward. It's the only way that you're going to grow and the only way that you're going to experience my love and my grace, and my power is made perfect in weakness. Just as I helped the Apostle Paul, I'm going to help you. You may have a thorn in your flesh, but I'm going to help you every step of the way. And since that time, He's been helping me. So what I've experienced with God in my own personal journey is really feeling that indescribable peace and that unconditional love that I tried to fill that gap, that void in my heart through several experiences, and nothing was ever filling it. No one was filling that void for me. And God filled that void in my heart, letting me know that I was enough, that I belonged to Him, and that shame, that guilt was all gone. And for me, I'm glad I went through all the experiences to know the right from wrong, but knowing that God loved me unconditionally and His grace was always there for me, and that He never gave up on me. When people did, or people that weren't honest with me and tell me the truth that I was actually, in the wrong, that His love helped me to be who I am, knowing my true identity in Jesus Christ, knowing that I am His son, and that He has a plan, a good plan to help me and to show me what He wants to unfold in my own personal life.